When it comes to chess, Magnus Carlson is the GOAT. But did you know that despite being the greatest, he still values human coaching? The reasons why might surprise you. As a sports coach and researcher for over a decade, I've discovered what makes top performers. So in this video, I'll share how coaches trained Magnus, how Magnus became the GOAT by being lazy, and how you can use these methods to improve your own athletes. If we start at the beginning, you might be surprised that Magnus didn't like chess, but Magnus had an older sister. I have a younger sister, and although I don't like most of her hobbies, Mario Kart on the Nintendo Wii, when she started playing the game, I wasn't interested. Then when we started racing, she was beating me. As a really poor loser when I was younger, I decided, no, I'm not having that, so I practiced. I practiced more than I care to admit, so when it came to the family races, I would win. New game, Mario Bros. I was happy with Mario Kart until she starts beating me again. Now I feel this urge to be better than her at Mario Bros. Even now when we play games, I am nowhere near as competitive as I was, but still have this nag to win. And Magnus, at 5 years old, had this nag as well. We all compare ourselves to others. Magnus competed with his sister until the competition wasn't as fun, so he found other competition to keep trying hard. Magnus started enjoying chess for the competition, but create competition with a focus on development over winning, allow, even encourage mistakes and errors to encourage problem solving, but most importantly, keep the difficulty desirable for healthy competition. Too easy gets boring. Then, when people start to understand the sport a little bit better, how and what to practice becomes an issue. I played chess when I was younger with my nan. It wasn't long before I started beating her consistently and the game just wasn't fun anymore. That was until COVID. I started playing chess online again, finding videos, learning patterns, and got quite good, but studying opening theory, chess lines, and doing tactics was, and still is, very boring. Magnus said,
I don't know. I think you can be dumb and be like fairly good at chess.
Referring to recognizing patterns. When I was studying opening theory, different chess lines and doing tactics, I got so frustrated when I played the game. Players didn't do what I'd studied. I played all the right moves, but then didn't know what to do next. It wasn't until I copied Magnus that I saw rapid improvement. My ELO, or chess level, went from 800, knowing where the pieces go, to 1700, club competition level, all in a couple of months. But he said,
I'm like known in the chess world for being like a little bit lazy.
He didn't do his coach's homework. Instead of practicing isolated scenarios that might or might not happen, he played lots of games, like loads of games. His practice represented the sport, then reflecting on the games afterwards. So play the sport, find any problems or weaknesses, then adjust next time. Doing lots of mini experiments like the math, Lego and sports stats he loved as a child. Sometimes testing things opposite to the coach's recommendations. Probably not making the coach giving instructions look very good, but back in the late 1960s, high jumpers went forwards over the bar. Their coaches telling them instructions, push off that foot, jump at that angle, or do this in the air. Until there was a change from sand to foam pit. A high jumper named Debbie Brill developed a different technique called the Brill Bend, and a different, more renowned high jumper called Dick Fosby used the same technique to win gold at the 1968 Olympic Games. The technique, known as the Fosby flop, is an example of creativity coming from the training environment. Letting people come up with different solutions helps players understand, but also be creative. Magnus said,
I haven't really listened to people who want me to do things like a certain way because that's the way things have always been done.
Debbie and Dick finding their own solutions, not following all the coach's instructions. So let athletes solve problems on their own, simplify the task if it's too hard, then change the problem to encourage finding different solutions. But some of you may be thinking, well, chess is solved. Chess is pattern recognition, and you just need to remember all the possible moves, but that makes practice feel like work. To Magnus, chess is a hobby, by making it fun. Not carefree goofing or falling around. Magnus and hundreds of other athletes agree. Boys, girls, young, old participants and performance-focused people all agreed on the same 11 fun factors out of 81 determinants. As a coach, I remember this as complicated. Clothes related to the sport makes people feel part of a team or group. Order during training and matches between teammates and other players give good vibes and just a pleasant experience. Match support with consistent officials and plenty of time to play helps with fairness. Positive attitudes towards engagement in the sport and winning where appropriate keeps people interested. Loyal friends to train and play with, but also hang out with outside of the sport brings a relaxing, safe feel to the sport. Improvement. In practice, through organised but varied sessions to avoid boredom, challenging games with fair matches and plenty of playing the game or sport, then advancing their skills through problem solving or measured metrics, tumbles and trials, allowing for errors and mistakes to be made, keeping the element of challenge up. Everyone involved, be that friends, family, carers, teammates, and even competition, to bring people together beyond the sport. And then desirable difficulty. Everyone wants to try hard to the best of their ability. Some of those fun factors were mentioned earlier, like challenging games, desirable difficulty, tumbles and trials, improvement. But while most athletes rely on coaches, chess players often turn to computers. So why does Magnus, the GOAT, still value human coaching? Order, training for opening preparation, still using computer analysis, but focused on Magnus. Positive attitudes when training and going into competition, but Magnus also said this.
A couple of other things, like my coach is also an old friend of mine. He's Danish, so we can communicate in the same language. And he's also just as obsessed with golf as I am. So that every time like we have like a chess training camp, there's also a lot of golf being played.
Having a loyal friend to train with, but also hang around with outside of the sport. In this case, playing a different sport in golf helps him enjoy training and the rest of life around the sport, getting everyone involved, building the positive culture of the game. But splitting your time between golf and chess then becomes an interesting question. Magnus is the GOAT, but should upcoming athletes diversify their training like this? In this video, I talk about the trick the 17-year-old Luke Littler used to become the youngest world darts champion.